Today, we will learn representation of fractions on the number line. We have already learned how to represent whole numbers on the number line. Just think, can we represent fractions on the number line similar to whole numbers? Yes. We can also represent fractions on the number line. We will discuss this in detail in this video. Here is a paper. Consider that we have divided it into 4 equal parts. When we look at these 4 parts collectively, this represents a whole. If we take one part out of 4 parts of the paper, then this part is 1/4 fraction of the whole part. Let's represent it on the number line. In order to do this, we will make a number line. To represent the fraction in a convenient way, we will keep the unit distance larger. Since we have made 4 equal parts of the paper, let's divide all the unit distances into 4 equal parts. Here, we have taken one part out of 4 parts. So let's take one part out of 4 parts on the number line and mark this as fraction 1/4. Similarly, if we take 2 parts of the paper, then we will write the fraction for it as 2/4. Can you tell how to represent this on the number line? Think for a while. You've got it right. To represent this, we will take 2 parts on the number line and we will mark the position as fraction 2/4. Similarly, we can represent fraction 3/4 on the number line by taking 3 parts. If we take 4 equal parts out of 4 parts, then the fraction will be 4/4, which is 4/4 is equal to 1. In this way, we can represent any fraction on the number line. Suppose we have to represent 3/5 on the number line. In order to do this, first, we will make a number line. Since the denominator of this fraction is 5, it tells us that a whole is divided into 5 equal parts. So, we will divide the distance between the points, which is also called as unit distance, into 5 equal parts. Similarly, the numerator 3 tells us that 3 parts are taken out of the 5 equal parts. That means one part on the number line will be 1/5, 2 parts 2/5, 3 parts will be 3/5, 4 parts 4/5. Similarly, if 5 out of 5 parts are taken, then the fraction will be 5/5. Can you find the position of 5/5 on the number line? Absolutely correct. This will be the position of 1, that is, 5/5 is equal to 1. In short, to represent any fraction a by b on the number line, first, we will divide unit distance into b equal parts and then count a number of parts from 0 and represent the fraction a by b. Today, we have learned representation of fractions on the number line. In the next video, we will see some examples on the representation of fractions on the number line. Today, we will see examples on representation of fractions on the number line. Ankita takes 6 minutes to go to school from her home. If she covers equal distance in every minute, then how many parts of the total distance will she be covering in 4 minutes? Represent the answer on the number line. This is Ankita's home and this is her school. Ankita takes 6 minutes to reach school from her home. Since she covers equal distance in each minute, we can say that in 6 minutes, she will cover 6 parts of the total distance. We have to find out the distance she will cover in 4 minutes. As you can see, in the first minute, Ankita covers one part of the total distance which can be represented in a fraction as 1/6. Similarly, in 2 minutes, she will cover 2 equal parts of the total distance which can be represented as 2/6. In 3 minutes, she will cover 3 parts of the total distance. That means the fraction will be 3/6. And similarly, in 4 minutes, she will cover 4 parts of the total distance, which can be represented in a fraction as 4 by 6 parts. Now let's represent 4 by 6 on the number line. Can you find its position? Think for a while. Let me explain. In order to do this, first we will make a number line. Denominator of this fraction is 6, which tells us that there should be 6 equal parts of the unit distance. So let's make 6 equal parts of a unit distance. Since we have to take 4 parts, we will count 4 parts after 0 and represent the fraction as 4 by 6. Example 2. Which number will appear at the position shown on the number line? As you can see here, distance from 0 to 1 is divided into 12 equal parts. The number at the position which we want to know is present between two whole numbers 0 and 1. So this will be a fraction. Since this number represents 5 parts out of 12 equal parts, we can say that the fraction will be 5 by 12. Next example. Nilima has distributed 4 chocolates out of 9 chocolates. How many parts of total chocolates are distributed? Represent the answer on the number line. Let's understand this. Nilima had 9 chocolates. Out of these, she distributed 4 chocolates. Since she distributed 4 chocolates out of 9 chocolates, we can say that she has distributed 4 out of 9 parts of all the chocolates she had. To represent this on the number line, first we will check the denominator of the fraction. Here, the denominator is 9, which tells us that the unit distance should be divided into 9 equal parts. Similarly, 4 is the numerator of this fraction. Can you tell me what you've understood from numerator 4? Think for a while. You've got it right. This tells us that out of the total equal parts, 4 parts have to be taken. So we count 4 from 0 and write the fraction as 4 by 9. Today, we have seen examples on representation of fractions on the number line. In the next video, we will see some misconceptions related to it. Today, we will see some misconceptions and common mistakes related to representation of fractions on the number line. Misconception 1. Represent the fraction of the shaded part on the number line. Most of the times, fraction of shaded part is identified incorrectly. As the 3 parts in the given figure are shaded, the numerator is 3 and the remaining 6 parts is taken as the denominator and the fraction is represented as 3 by 6. To represent this on the number line, a unit distance is divided into 6 parts and out of these 3 parts are taken to express the fraction. This is a misconception. The correct answer to this question is option 2 because here the shaded part are 3 out of 9. So the fraction will be expressed as 3 by 9. To represent this on a number line, unit distance is divided into 9 parts, out of which 3 parts are taken to mark the fraction 3 by 9 correctly. Sometimes, fraction is identified correctly and unit distance is also divided into 9 equal parts, but to represent 3 out of 9 parts, counting is done from 0 to 3 and fraction 3 by 9 is represented on third point from 0. This is a misconception. Counting of parts must start from the point next to 0. Misconception 2. On the given number line, which number represents the position of the question mark? To find the number that represents the question mark, 1 is subtracted from the numerator and denominator of the next number 7 by 8. By doing so, we get the answer 6 by 7, which is an incorrect answer. The correct understanding is that here the unit distance is divided into 8 equal parts. Out of these 8 parts, the question mark represents the 6th part. So the correct fraction at this position is 6 by 8. Now we will see some common mistakes related to representation of fractions on the number line. Many times it is observed that while making divisions on the number line, it is not divided in equal parts. This can result in difficulty in expressing the fractions on the number line. To express any fraction on the number line in a correct way, all the parts must be divided equally. Many times, parts are counted incorrectly on the number line. Look at this example. It is understood that it is divided into 5 parts by counting from 0 to 1. The correct understanding is that to find the number of parts, skip the point at 0 and start counting from the point next to 0 and count up to 1. With this understanding, there are 4 parts here. As a result of counting from 0, many times there is also a mistake in expressing fractions. Suppose if it is asked to represent 5 by 6 on the number line, then a number line is made on which 6 points are marked, and considering 0 as the first point, the fifth point is marked as 5 by 6. The correct understanding is that we must take 7 points on the number line so that the total number of parts will be 6. Today, we have seen misconceptions and common mistakes related to the representation of fractions on the number line.